Hey everybody. Today we're diving into a really cool edition of the Flying Saucer Review from August of 1969. Shane actually recommended this one to me, so the article sheds light on some really groundbreaking UFO research. Now this just isn't any UFO discussion. It's about understanding really the deep impact that these encounters have on witnesses. I mean, something that's often overlooked, but really incredibly important. So, as you all know, we have thousands of witnesses to the phenomena. But how many of them are actually taken seriously? You know, I bet almost none of them. But why? You know, and a little bit about that later. So first, I want to talk about, a special case highlighted in the issue. It's called The Strange Case of Dr. X. This isn't really just a spooky UFO story, it's kind of a deep dive into the heavy effects that an encounter can have on a person. So let me just talk about Dr. X, who is respected. He's a biologist, he's a talented musician, and he had his life turned completely upside down by what he experienced one night. Now, Dr. X isn't your average Joe. He's a highly qualified witness with a really strong scientific background, which I think makes his account even more compelling. So he experienced a close encounter that not only affected him physically, but also left tons of psychological effects. And what's really interesting is how the review discusses the thorough investigations conducted by UFO researchers, including Amy Michelle, who was a prominent figure in the field at the time. So these researchers, they weren't just flying by the seat of their pants. They conducted detailed, empathetic examinations of witnesses like Dr. X. They understood that these encounters could be transformative. Possibly even traumatic, which a lot of us have experienced. So this approach marked a big shift from earlier UFO research, which often dismissed witnesses as completely unreliable, or their stories were mere fabrications. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? So I think we have somehow reverted to a time when nothing is trusted, and even people you did trust are questionable now. But does it really have to be like this? I don't think it does. So get this, imagine the progress we could make if all experiencers came together, to share their stories, instead of dismissing these accounts as mere anecdotes or nuances. How about recognizing them as an integral part to unraveling the mystery of UAP, encounters and even abductions? So I think it could revolutionize our understanding. Each story is a piece of the puzzle, potentially providing, unique insights into the phenomenon itself. So why is this mass effect not being studied from a perspective of the witness? As we move into, more technological space, let's throw the shackles aside and begin to really explore the topic. Really actually explore it with us, the people who actually experience it. Now, the review also touches on the broader implications of such encounters. It delves into how society views UFO witnesses and the stigma they face. So it's really quite a challenge, as we know, many witnesses, especially those in professional or prominent positions, they fear ridicule or damage to their reputation. So, this fear often forces them into being anonymous, complicating efforts to study the phenomena thoroughly. So my question is, how do we get to a place where, a large group of experiencers can be vetted, per se, with the tools we have available? This could be like a polygraph or multiple witnesses to the same event. I think we've come to a point in culture, at least in the West, where if you can't put it under a mass spectrometer, it really doesn't exist. Quite sad, but understandable at the same time. So now, why does this even matter? Well, it kind of pushes us to think differently about the UFO phenomena. It's really not just about spotting mysterious objects in the sky. It's about understanding human experiences and the potentially crazy profound effects of these encounters. So the review actually calls for a more empathetic, rigorous approach to studying UFOs, one that respects the experiences and, of course, the bravery of the witnesses who come forward. Now, it's also worth noting how the review addresses the need for a change in the investigative approach. So it says instead of outright skepticism or blind belief, I think it advocates for a balanced investigative approach that values the witness's testimony as really a crucial piece of the puzzle. So, I mean, I think this could lead to a better understanding of not only the phenomena itself, but also its impact on individuals and how it could be shaping society as a whole. I don't know. So, I mean, in wrapping up, this issue of the Flying Saucer Review really opens up a lot of doors. I mean, it encourages us to think about the human side of the UFO encounters and the real changes needed in how we investigate and think about these events. So for me, it's a call to action for everybody interested in the truth behind the UFO phenomenon, like urging us to look beyond the lights in the sky and focus on the people looking up at them. I don't know. So what do you think? How should we approach UFO research? And what can we do to support those who've already had these experiences? I don't know. What do you guys think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks again, guys. Take care.